Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, New St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, crossing new frontiers to conquer today's challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, New St. Augustine.
A research mathematician that is trained only in mathematics, or a research physicist that is trained only in physics, or a research computer scientist that is trained only in computer science cannot theoretically and experimentally discover the massively parallel processing supercomputer that is the precursor of our modern supercomputer. Only a polymath that is simultaneously at home at the frontier of the system of coupled, nonlinear, time-dependent, and state-of-the-art partial differential equations of modern calculus, and a polymath that is at home at the frontiers of extreme-scale algebra and computational physics, and a polymath that is at home at the frontier of the massively parallel processing supercomputer. And only that polymath can invent how to harness 64 binary thousand tightly coupled commodity off-the-shelf processors that share nothing with each other, and invent how to solve a grand challenge problem in extreme scale computational fluid dynamics. The Science News is the flagship bi-monthly news journal of record of the Society of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. The articles in the Science News are about new mathematics that are yet to enter into any mathematics textbook. The articles in the Science News are written by research mathematicians and are written for research mathematicians. The reason my new mathematics for computational mathematicians, computing across an ensemble of processors, was the cover story of the May 1990 issue of the widely read Science News was that I was a research extreme-scale computational mathematician who pushed the frontiers of modern calculus and extreme-scale algebra and computation-intensive arithmetic. I pushed the frontier of modern calculus by a distance of 36 partial derivative terms that were not in any calculus textbook that was used by the petroleum industry. I invented how to solve the most large-scale system of equations of algebra that must be solved to recover otherwise unrecoverable crude oil and natural gas. I invented how to execute the fastest floating point arithmetical operations for extreme scale computations in science and engineering. The reason computational mathematicians call them floating point operations is that the position of the decimal point is constantly tracked. The reason I won the highest award in supercomputing was that I was a supercomputer scientist who pushed the frontiers of the most massively parallel processing supercomputer. And the reason research computational physicists invited me to give lectures at NASA, Los Alamos National Laboratory, and various US research laboratories was that I pushed the frontiers of extreme scale computational physics. The reason I programmed supercomputers alone was that I discovered that as a polymath, that is a multidisciplinary scientist, I could do research alone. After 16 years of sequential processing, supercomputing, and vector processing, supercomputing, and parallel processing, supercomputing, I realized that I had more hands-on programming experience on the first massively parallel processing supercomputer that parallel processed across a new internet that I envisioned as a new global network of 65,536 processors, and that I knew how to solve extreme scale systems of equations of modern algebra, and that I was the first person to understand how to solve them at unheard of speeds. Looking back, I devoted 200,000 hours of my life thinking about the massively parallel processing supercomputer that is a new internet, which in turn is more than anybody else did. My command of materials and my possession of the interdisciplinary fluency that made it possible for me to conduct my research alone and for me to deliver my lectures on my contributions to the development of the massively parallel processing supercomputer show in my lectures that are posted at emeagwali.com. My eureka moment, during which I invented the precursor to the modern supercomputer, occurred in Los Alamos, New Mexico, United States, and occurred at 18:15 in the morning of Tuesday, the 4th of July, 1989, the U.S. Independence Day.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.